Good morning, everyone, and welcome to another morning of stamping. My name is Sarah Simon, and I am an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator coming to you from Appleton, Wisconsin. Thank you guys so much for joining me. Um, Denise is making her first communion cards. Wow. Yeah, I probably will be doing that next year, right? When I actually have First Communion kids as well. So I can appreciate that. I have to make some confirmation cards today because the kids I had in faith formation, not this year, but the past 2 years before that, are being confirmed this Wednesday. So I have to get little cards for them. So thank you guys all for joining me this morning. Crazy morning. Actually, it's been a crazy week. So why wouldn't the morning be crazy, right? So this past week, we celebrated, well, it started out with Xavier Day. So there was one day that they had, everybody's supposed to share about Xavier, wear Xavier, and give to Xavier. It was kind of like a fundraiser type thing. Well, then as time progressed, it kind of came into every campus. We have 4 campuses, 2 elementaries, a middle school, and a high school. That every campus would have their own Xavier Day. And then Friday would be the woo, we're all together as Xavier Day. Then at some point, I got brought into it that I have to do a STEM activity with every single grade in the elementary campuses that somehow focuses on Xavier, but also brings in STEM and also brings in another subject area, whatever, however I want to do it. So oh my goodness. So that's 6 different activities, 4K through fourth grade, that I had to plan. And then I had to run them on each of the days. So Tuesday and Wednesday. So my week was insane. I hardly got any sleep. And then I was trying to do a card buffet at night in between the stuff that I had to do to get ready for the next day. And finally I said, Sarah, you can't do this. My dad keeps telling me, Sarah, you're not as young as you used to be. You need to slow down. Like I'm almost 60, right? Well, I'll be 57 this year. So I'm just inching a little bit closer to 60. And he's like, you just need to start slowing down. But here's the thing. He's 80 and I tell him the same thing. You need to slow down. So he keeps going too and he's 80. So I don't learn it from any strangers, right? But it was a crazy week and my legs and my feet are feeling it today. It's been an ibuprofen kind of week for me every single night. So anyway, but I'm excited to be here with you today and stamp. I'm going to be doing the catalog goes live this upcoming Tuesday. Can you believe it? It feels like we've been waiting forever, right? Because all of us who are demonstrators since April, no, since the end of March, we've had some of this stuff to play with. And so it's like we want all of you to start to be able to get it now too. So, I'm going to be showing you 2 different suites of products. I have a technique card and I have just a simple card. I wanted to show you sometimes when you get 6x6 pieces of paper and they're so beautiful and you're like, I don't want to waste this, right? So I'm going to show you a very simple card when you have a very busy DSP. It's a very beautiful DSP to try to use it to maximize the number of cards that you can get from it and minimize the amount of waste that you have in the card stock. So, or the DSP, I should say. So that's kind of what our plan is for today. Thank you for all of you who have liked and shared my video. I really, really appreciate that a lot. And then on top of it, so in StreamYard, which is the software program that I use, um, they've been having these scenes and it keeps saying, like try out our scenes. So I'm like, what the heck are the scenes? I don't have time to try to teach myself something else. But I watched a video last night because I was not being creative at all at that point. And I'm like, oh, I'm going to try this tomorrow. So I woke up this morning and you have to have everything connected in order to do it. And I'm like, okay, I'm all connected. Let's do this. And then all of a sudden I looked at the time and it's like, oh gosh, I got to go live. So it's kind of been one of those mornings. Anyhow, I'm so excited to be with you. And I do have some prizes to give away. So last week we played with the candy jar, that card, and somebody said to me, "Oh, I like that color combination of pool party and crumb cake and early espresso." And it is a combination that I've used quite a bit, and I do have a matching envelope here. And for commenting, so anytime you comment, whether you are on Facebook or you are on YouTube, it looks like I hope I'm on Facebook. It looks like I just have YouTube people that are commenting right now. But whether you are on YouTube or you are on Facebook and you make a comment, I do enter your name into a drawing for a chance to win the cards. And so winning this week is Barbara McIntosh from Kentucky. And Barbara, I do not have your address. So if you could send me an email at createwithsarahllc@gmail.com, or if you find, I think you might have been on Facebook. I don't know if you're on Facebook. I think you were on YouTube, actually. I don't remember. I don't remember. I'm going to be honest. I don't remember. I'd be guessing. If you are on Facebook and you find me there, you could send me a private message. Otherwise, here we go. I'm on live on Facebook. Thanks, Amanda. She made a comment so that I knew that I was for sure live there. And then we had this fun fold where we flip like this and open that up. And receiving this for sharing last week is Sandy Calloway. So, Sandy, I do have your address and I will get that off in the mail to you. Now, I can't show you the catalog yet because it's here, but I can't open it until after Tuesday. But I'm going to show you some of the things that are inside of it. But before we do that, I do have some just a couple of reminders of things going on with Stampin' Up. If you either haven't heard about it or you didn't see some of the stuff that I had posted. Let me do this one. Okay, so I hope you can still hear me. I think you can. This is that new program I'm using. All right. So Stampin' Up is offering um, double the rewards May 2nd and May 3rd. So today is the last day of that. Let me go back to, and I don't know if you could hear me that or not before when I had that picture up or not, but Stampin' Up is offering double the rewards. Today is the last day for that. So normally on your orders over $20, you've been getting 10% rewards. Now you will get, for today only, you will get a 20% reward. So that's kind of exciting. The other thing that they have going on beginning when the starter kit goes live, which the starter kit is going live on May 6th. So May 6th through 31st. If you join my team, so if you're at my website shopping and you hit join now, you can pick out $165 worth of products for $99 and get free shipping on it. So that's a really nice deal to have. And I would love to have you as part of my team. You do not have to build a business with being a demonstrator. You can simply just enjoy the benefits of a 20% discount. You can get your catalogs earlier. If you're local, you can attend my card buffet for free each month. You also would be invited to our team meetings. And if you're not local, I do send everything that I give to my team members. I send to you as well. And when I do have any kits to go, card kits to go, you do get the PDF and video of it for free. Everybody does. So there are some benefits, some things that I do try to give to those who are underneath me, so that you can just get some little treats for being on my team. I don't have a huge team, but we are kind of a strong knit group. I have 12 people who are on my team right now, and we would love to have you join us if you would like. So I just wanted to put that out there because it is a really good deal. And if you're going to spend $100, you do not get rewards on what you did for your starter kit, but you do get all of the same rewards afterwards. Okay, next, cloud cover. I talked a little bit about the ink last week, and I didn't know what I was going to do for my in color class or my in color club. And we did find out this week that it is not going to be made available. So what's happening is that whatever is in the pads that we have and the chemical makeup of the cloud cover, they're not like jiving with each other. And so over time, sometimes the color can be really off to the point where Stampin' Up! Isn't happy with it and doesn't want to put it out to you. And there's nothing they can really do because they can't change the formula of the pad and they can't change the formula of the ink color chemistry, right? So what is available to you is they will have the re-inker that you can have, and they do sell their little Stampin' Spots. So those Stampin' Spots, instead of being the foam pad that our other ink pads are, they are still more of like the Memento ink pad, where it's kind of more of like a linen type ink pad. And if you put the re-inker on that, it will not have the same chemical reaction that it has to our foam pads. And so I am going to be doing my color club. And what I decided to do is that I'm going to figure it with only the 4 ink pads. I will give you the re-inker for the cloud cover. Or I'll include that in the price and you will get that. And then I will throw in the spot for free. Okay, so you don't have to buy a whole pack of spots. I will buy the pack of spots and I will get that to you for free. Now, what I'm also offering to you is, as a demonstrator, I can gift people my Stampin' Rewards. So if you join the In Color Club that I have, I will gift you, I will send you an email that says, here are your points, dollars, they're basically reward dollars that you can use the next time you shop. All right. And the difference between those points, reward points, and the ones that you earn yourself is you have a shorter period of time to use them. And I will tell you about that if you join it. I'm hoping to get all of that stuff put together and put it on my Facebook and get it sent out in constant contact to those of you that are on my newsletter list by the end of the weekend. So if you wanted to join that, you can. Good morning to all of you. All right, I think it's time to start stamping. I think we've talked enough, right? So let's see here. I've got to go to this right here. Woo. Now, I want to make sure you can all hear me. I'm assuming you can because I'm using my phone and I do not have my computer on at all, which I mute anyway. So if you can't hear me, let me know, but I'm assuming everybody can hear me okay. All right, so the first suite of products that I'm going to use for my first card, it's called Beautiful Gallery. I'm going to turn my overhead light up because I can see my shadows there. Okay, it's called Beautiful Gallery. All right, let's see what we've got here. We have DSP that is absolutely gorgeous and could be framed. And this is called Beautiful Gallery. Basic beige, basic black, basic gray, Calypso Coral, Cloud Cover, Crumb Cake, Early Espresso, Gray Granite, Lost Lagoon, Mossy Meadow, Peach Pie, Pecan Pie, Secret Sea, and Smoky Slate are the colors in here. Okay, so I did it so that this is just the other side of that. So these two are a piece. Look at these papers. Just gorgeous, right? And there. And here's the next one. This one I think is beautiful as well. Look at that. With these little splatterings of paint. Look at that. So I don't know about you, but sometimes I'm like, what am I supposed to do? Because these papers are so beautiful. Like I said, you just want to be able to frame them, right? Because they're just so gorgeous. And how do I, with 6 by 6, how do I maximize? This is the one we're going to use. So I only have one of those. How do I maximize the paper? How do I cut it so that, and what are some layouts that I can use to really maximize the number of cards that I can get from this paper? Because to be honest, like sometimes I order these papers and then I don't use a lot of the paper because I'm like, it's too pretty to cut, or I don't know how to exactly use this. So this is just a layout that I'm going to share with you that is especially helpful for when you have 6 by 6 paper and it's a paper like this that has these beautiful designs and you're not quite sure what to do with them. Okay, so also in this suite of products is this motif, and I can't remember what the exact name is. I know motif is in it. It's an embossing folder. We're going to use this today. I think it's called Beautiful Motif, maybe. But that is in there. There is also some basic beige ribbon that goes with it. And this is really, really thin ribbon and it makes beautiful, beautiful bows. I've played with it. And then these gems, which are pretty similar to other ones. Now, I do have to tell you, these are a little bit on the heavy side. They're not super flat, but they're flatter than some of the big gems that we have, but they are going to add some weight because they are a little bit heavy. Damask, that's what it is. Thank you, Sherry. I don't know why I was thinking motif. Is motif part of it? I think that's somewhere in the and I don't even know if I'm pronouncing that correct. Damask. This is but these are a little bit on the heavier side. Okay, there are 2 bundles that go with it. I have one of them and the other one is coming that I got with the free shipping, and that order I'm thinking is going to be here either today or Monday, probably Monday. But I don't know where the one bundle is. I don't know where I put it after I took the stamps off of it that we're going to use. If that gives you any indication of how messy my stamp room is right now, it is that messy. So I'm going to go ahead and put this down here again for those of you that like to take a screenshot. These are going to be our dimensions, and then I will also put it on there after we are done with making our card, and I'll put the card next to it. So what we have for dimensions, and I'm going to go away from your comments for just a little bit so I can go to my banners. We're going to do just a regular card base, and I did the Secret C is the beautiful motif. One of the sets is beautiful motif. Okay, that's it. Okay, thanks, Sherry. Thank you. Good thing I have demonstrators on here that are helping me. Damask is the name of the embossing folder. One of the sets is beautiful motif. So I knew that was in there somewhere, right? So many new things to learn with a new catalog. Okay, so this is 5.5 by 8.5, and I scored it at 4.25. I should write myself little notes. Normally I have stickers on here, but I haven't even had time to make those to add the little labels onto it yet. Hoping that can get done. So I have Monday off. I'm taking it off, I should say. All right, then we have, I'm using the cloud cover, and I have 2 of them at 4 by 5.25. And you can see I embossed one of them. Look at that. Isn't that pretty? I just love that. I think it's so pretty. Okay, so I have 2 of those that are 4 by 5.25. Again, super, super easy layout. Yeah, good thing we have a year to remember them because I need it, right? Then you're going to have a mat for your DSP. And this measures, nope, that's not right. This is 3 7/8 by 5 1/8. This is for my inside. Okay, this is for the inside of my card. So I'm going to layer that on here for the inside of my card. I want a little bit of that cloud cover to show on the inside as well. Then my mat for my DSP is 3 1/8 by 4 3/8. Okay, so I have that. And then, so for the DSP, what I did with this is I like to always have layers that are either 2 inches wide or 3 inches wide if I can. The reason I like that is because with this being 6 inches, if I cut it at 3 inches, I for sure can get two pieces out of it. Okay. If I cut it at 4 inches, I have a 2 inch strip that I could use for something, right? If I use it in 2 inch strips, I can get three of them out of there. So I try to do it in like different factors, I guess you would say. I'm a math teacher. I was a math teacher at one point. Factors of six. So 1, 2, 3, and 4 and 6. Actually, it wouldn't even be a factor because you don't have to multiply them. But anyway, any way where you can divide it up so that you can easily get more pieces out of it. Okay. Yeah. Yep, I did put it in there already, Donna, and I'll put it in at the end. So I'll put them in the end with the picture with the frame on the end, but yep, I will do that. So this is actually 3 by 4 1/4. So I cut it at 4 1/4 and then I cut it at 3. So I still had this long piece of 6 inches that was 1 3/4 inches wide. So I could use that if I wanted to, but I cut little strips of it to put on the inside of my paper as well. Okay, so that's what I do. I don't like to do something that's like 4 1/4 if I want to make a whole bunch of something, because if I make something or bigger than 3, because then I can only get one of them out of this paper. And when I'm making cards, I'm usually trying to make multiples of them, or I'm making them for a class or something. So I try to get as much out of them as I possibly can. And it looks like, oh, I did. I have, whoops, here's a little 1/2 inch by 4 inches. That's going to be for our greeting. And I should have had a little piece of DSP. It's probably sitting on back here. Let's see here. I did this last night, so I've got to see if it's still around. If not, I will add a piece later because I know I've got a piece sitting there because of the way I cut it. Okay, so that is how we did it with this paper. I don't want to cut a half a piece, 1/2 inch off of this one big piece here. All right, so I've got a lot of the work done. And what I did with this one is I also, let's put it in there. I also took that embossing folder and I embossed the edge of my envelope, the little flap of my envelope, because I didn't want to have to take papers and take and use the paper for this part of it. Because it is so beautiful. I wanted to share it. We're looking for a math teacher for middle school. My plans are set, Denise, for sure. Okay. So anyway, let's go ahead and do some stamping. I'm using some Secret C stamp, and I'm using the Thinking of You from one of the stamp sets. I think that's the beautiful motif one, and I'm here for you always. So we're gonna do the Thinking of You is going to go on this little strip here. I'm gonna move this out of the way and I'll bring it back in when I have the card. Okay, so I'm gonna do Thinking of You, and I'm gonna actually stand up so I can get this straight. All right, and then on the inside, I'm gonna actually flip that over. It looks like I smeared it a little bit. I'm always here for you. Much better. Okay, that's all the stamping I have to do for this one. Now, there are beautiful die cuts that you could add to this as well. But sometimes when the paper is sort of busy itself, I don't feel like I have to add a whole lot of other stuff because the paper is doing a lot of the work for me. All right, I'm going to layer this. Again, I wanted to bring some of that cloud cover color into the inside of my card. And so I decided I wanted that double layer for the inside, which I usually don't do a double layer on the inside, but it was such a simple card. And I am going to add a little strip of the DSP down here as soon as I find it in my cutting area. I'm also cutting for, I changed my card buffet. I changed it to a Stamp-A-Stack because with a card buffet, I have to design 16 my clear trays. Oh, the ones that I have my stamp stuff in. Is that what you're talking about, Sherry? So let's see. This right here. I got these at Meijer, and where I got them was in the area where they sell different containers. They're meant to be containers for like in the refrigerator. And so that's where I ended up finding them. So I don't know if you have a Meijer where you live, but we have a Meijer, and they come. Some of them have the little silicone in here, which I can just put this down in here, and I don't have to worry. I mean, I can clean it later, but then I can just take a wet wipe and then just wipe it down to keep them clean. And some of them did not have the silicone in the bottom of them. And for those, I end up just cutting some cardstock, and I put some cardstock down there to kind of do the same thing. They come in two different sizes. There was this size, and then there was a size that was double it. So I have both of them because when I do my card buffets, I will put my stamps in here. That way, if people don't clean them right afterwards, they're just getting this dirty, and I can clean that all up afterwards. Okay, thanks for asking. All right, then I'm going to put our, like I said, this is a very simple card. I think I used this glue this morning. I don't know how it could have gotten a little stuck. There we go. Just needed some coercing. That embossing folder is just gorgeous. Now there is one of the papers has this little design in it. I don't think it was the back of this one. It was a different one that had it. So you could use designer paper as well. And we're going to attach this to here. I was thinking that maybe I would use basic gray with the cloud cover, but I really do like how the Secret Sea. Got to get used to all the names of the new papers as well. And I'm just going to put this down. You could pop this up on dimensionals if you wanted to, but I'm just going to put it down flat, and I'm going to look to see. I don't think there's a right or a wrong way for the paper. Just going to put it down like that. Each card looks just a little bit different. Renee said the embossing folders on her wish list. Yeah, that was one of the first things that I ended up getting. This is going to go across. Now, depending on where your flower is, you don't have to have it go right across the center. You could have, like for this one, the last one I did, my flower, I had a big flower up here and I had a big flower down here, and it was kind of across the center. This one, I think I'm going to move down a little bit. And I'm going to, because this is like flat and then there's just this little bit in here and there's that embossing, it does raise it up a little bit. And I find that a glue dot, although it's not a dimensional, it has more dimension than just my ink. So I'm going to go ahead and throw a glue dot on that. And I think I might have I did. You know what? I put the glue dot on the side that I wanted up. That's all right. I'm gonna put I'm putting a gem there so it'll cover it up. Did anybody see me doing that? That I put it on the wrong side. All right, so I'm just gonna move this down towards the bottom instead of up towards the top. Normally I threw a little bit of glue in there and I forgot. So let's just do this and pop a little. I'm gonna put a glue dot in there. There we go. Got all confused when I looked over and I had the smeared one and I'm like, like that. And then gems that go with this, I didn't really want for this. I wanted something a little bit softer. And so our in color flat pearls I thought worked perfect. Now all of my Secret C ones are gone on this pack because I did a swap and I needed them for that. And so I'm just going to use this medium size one. See how I said I can cover that mistake that I made? I'm going to just cover that mistake with a dot like that. And look at how simple that card is, but just how beautiful it turns out. And then we've got the envelope that's already embossed. And I will go ahead. I know you guys prefer me to do this. So there we go. All right. So there is our first very simple, very simple. So like on the one that I did here, oops, I'm sorry. I don't want to get in your screenshots. See how I had two bigger flowers? So I put my thinking of you up a little bit in between the two flowers. So depending on where you end up cutting it, you can decide where you want to put that. Now, you could add ribbon to this if you wanted to, but I thought it's so simple. And then there are some like die cuts that are in this suite of products that have like some that you would use for like greenery and things like that. And I thought about doing that and I'm like, why? It's so pretty and it's beautiful. Like, thank you. Anne said that that's beautiful. I know, right? It's the paper does all the work. I really didn't have to. Here, I put this on the inside. I really didn't have to do a lot of extra work for this one. It's a super simple card. If I put this through the mail, I shouldn't have to add any extra postage to it. And if I got this, I'd be like, oh my gosh, that's stunning, right? Okay, let me show you a couple of other cards that I received in swaps. This one uses that same paper. Instead of the damask embossing folder, it uses the embossing folder that comes with the cheers to you, the one that has all the little drinks and stuff like that, sips and something. But one of them is a floral one and it's only a skinny one. So they just put the embossing on that side. And here too, this is like 3x3. So you could end up getting 4 of these out of a pack of paper if you cut them at 3x3. Right. And this is from a different stamp set. And then this just uses some of our white baker's twine and then a couple of the gems in 2 different colors. All right. And then one down here. All right. And then this one, just a completely different color combination. All right. This uses some of the paper from that set. This is one of the stamps that is then colored with some Stampin' Blends. This rectangle is from one of the dies from one of the sets, from one of the bundles. And then this is from, this paper right here is from a different stack of paper. We're going to be using, actually, this one is from the suite that we're going to be using next. And then thank you for everything on the inside. Okay, so a couple of cards that I could share with you that has some of those. Thanks, Sue. Yeah, you could hit the thumbs up button. I would appreciate that. I would appreciate a lot. Let me tell you who made these cards just so that I don't miss them. Let's see. Pretty in Pink, Soft Sea Foam. This is something different, I think. Let's see. This one was Cloud Cover and Secret. This one is from Lisa Lang. And she is from it doesn't say where she's from. Okay, so that's Lisa Lang. And then this one might be from here. Here we go. This is from Chris Weddle. Weddell. Chris Weddle. So just to give them credit for their beautiful designs. All right, so there you go. Put your thinking of you wherever it works. Just put it across the center. You could also do that thicker if you had a bigger greeting. You could put it on a diagonal if you needed to make it a little bit longer. It's entirely up to you and what you have for a greeting. Okay, that is card number 1. Card number 2. Let me bring the suite of products. I have that sitting off to the side here so that you can see those. All right, this is going to be an online exclusive. So you will not see this in the catalog if you have a catalog. So this is kind of a little sneak peek for you to see this. So I think I've used this paper. Yeah, I used this paper before. And this is called, I don't think it's called Floral Impressions. Maybe it is. I don't know if I have the right backdrop with it. All right. So these are our papers. We used that one. Last week we used that in our cookie jar. We're going to be using this one today, which I think is beautiful. And then this was the paper that was in that last one. We've got some strawberry slush that's in here. That's one of our newer colors. I ended up, when I did this one, I ended up using Secret Sea with some of it. So yes, and then we have that. This right here, strawberry slush, these are some gems that go with it. There's some real tiny ones in here, which is nice. And let me show you, there are some, all you see is the strawberry slush, but there are some that are a little bit that would go almost with the card that we're making today. They have like a little gold fleck in them and they go nicely with that little yellow that's there. Oops. And these also have these gold edged. You can just punch these out and use them. And you can see there's like a couple of different, let me punch one out for you. So if you wanted to, you could really get two out of these because you could put white behind this and you could use that. You could raise this up on dimensionals and have it be a dimensional type thing. And there's different shapes for those. And you end up getting, I think it's 4 of each one. 1, 2, 3. Nope, there's more than that. There are 6 of each one. Okay, 6 of each one. There's also an embossing folder. I think I used this in one of the cards that I did, that I showed you a second example where you could use that. And we used it, actually, it was on our card challenge, creative challenge. I used this on the inside of my layer. All right, so that is, and then there is, oh, where's the stamp set? I did have that out, oh, right here. Impressions of Bloom. And it has these beautiful flowers that you can stamp, and then you could do stamp over the top of it. So you can do this a little bit darker and that your lighter color. But they also have these dies, which we're going to cut some of those out today. Some leaves, these ovals that are beautiful. You can see I've got some of the stuff out for our card today. So this will be an online exclusive that will be starting on Tuesday. All right, let's see. Now, this is a technique that I'm going to be using. It's called fault line. And I was trying to figure out where in the heck did they get the name for this? Because when I think of fault line, I think of earthquakes, right? And so I didn't realize, let me show you a picture here. This is also called a fault line in a cake. I had no idea. I'm not a baker of any sort. So if you see like the little design on the inside, and then you've got the cake, the fondant or whatever it is on the top and the bottom, that's also called a fault line. Never knew that. So I learned something new. These are going to be the dimensions that you need, but again, I will put my card here afterwards so that you can see. Now, I received this swap. I'm going to show you the swaps from Stephanie Flath. And she's from Wyoming, Michigan. And I received this, and isn't this beautiful? This is the fault line. So you can kind of see the way that she did this. Looks kind of like that cake that I showed you the picture of, and she made hers horizontal. So I went online and I'm like, I got to figure out how to make this, because what is the embossing folder called? Yeah, you had to ask, right? I can look that up. and let you know. I did have it up here, and I don't know. Let me see. I will be able to find that for you really quick. Just hang tight for a second and I will look it up. So menu, online, somebody will probably list it before I even get it, but I'll try to beat them to it. It is called the Pressed Flowers embossing folder. Pressed Flowers embossing folder. And I have to get my labels on there. And the name of the paper, the DSP, is Floral Impressions. That is correct. When I said that, I wasn't positive. There's two floral suites, and I keep getting them intertwined and mixed for some reason. So like this bloom is from a different suite. It's from something in the catalog, but this paper is an online exclusive. And this You Make Me Smile is from the one that's in the catalog. So I keep getting them all mixed up because people keep intertwining them all because they do work really, really nicely together. Okay, so I saw this and I loved it. And I'm like, I've got to do that. And Kathy Miller actually sent me a card because she was doing it for her stamp club as their technique for the month. And I'm like, yeah, I've seen this around. Everyone that I've seen has gone out to the edge where it's beautiful, but you either have to be showing your designer paper for a full sheet back here, or like she did here, she ended up having to cover up all the different layering with that. This also is 4 1/4, which in a 12-inch sheet, again, I'm thinking I've got to cut these for classes. When I do 4 1/4 and 4 1/4, I can't get a third one off of there. But if I do 4 and 4 and 4, then I can get 3 sheets of them and I can get a lot more from my paper. So I wanted to see, I was trying to mess around with it. And then I came across somebody who did do it with 4. And I want to say her name was, oh, I should have written it down. Maybe Karen Freeman. I think the last name was Freeman, Lisa Freeman. Was it Lisa Freeman, maybe? I don't remember. But she did it where she had a card base and then she built this on a 4 by 5 1/4 inch layer. And I was like, oh, yes, that's what I need to do. What are we looking for? Sweet blooms for bloom word. Oh, yeah, this word bloom is coming from the sweet blooms. Yep. Okay, so we are going to be actually using a stamp set though from the stamp set that the stamp set that I had shown you. So how you do this with having a layer instead of having it go all the way out to the edge, which I guess going all the way out to the edge looks more like the cake figure, right? Because there's not like an end to it, but we're going to use it the other way. And I'm going to flip my card around. After I made my card, I'm like, I wonder what would have happened if I had switched the 2 card stocks. So on my card that I'm going to make with you, we're going to switch it up just a little bit. So I'm going to go away from my comments here a little bit. And we're going to start right here. So I'm going to do crushed curry. Oh, if my dog starts barking, the FedEx van just pulled up. And if she sees it, she's going to start going ballistic. So I apologize if she starts barking. So 4 1/4 by 8 1/2. No, 5 1/2 by 8 1/2. And I scored at 4 1/4. Sorry about that. Let me fix that for you real quick so that you have the right one. This is what happens when I oversleep and I say, oh, I can get that done in the morning. And then I can't get my butt out of bed because it was a long week. And so let's see, let's try that again. 5 1/2 by 8 1/2, and I scored it at 4 1/4, and this is crushed curry. I used so one of these is going to be for the inside, and the other one is what you're going to build your fault line off of. So I used basic beige because if you look at the paper, some of the flowers that are in there appear to be in basic beige. Okay, there's some basic beige in there. So I just decided to use that instead of basic white. Now there is basic white in there too, but I just decided we're going to do it this way. All right. So there are two of those that are 4 by 5 1/4. Then you need to take the two pieces. So let's look at this one. So you would use this color right here. And this one, they use DSP as the other one that they cut. You would either use the DSP and cardstock, or in what I decided to do was I decided to use, excuse me, some of the basic beige and some of the early espresso. And each of these measures 4 by 2 3/4. All right. Then my DSP that's going to be in the center here, I cut mine at 4 by 4. Because by cutting it by 4 by 4, I can get three this way, I can get three down. I can get 9 cards out of this one sheet of 12 by 12 sheet of DSP, and I haven't wasted anything. Okay, I've used all of it. So when I'm cutting for, let's say, a card buffet, and I have to cut 24 of them, I don't have to use as much paper because I'm cutting it efficiently. All right, let me get rid of this. Let me go back to your comments. All right, good morning, Kathy. So what we are going to do is we're going to take our two pieces. Here they are. Let me get this out of the way here. We're going to take our two pieces, and I also have, let me get back up the bus here. I die cut this out of crushed curry, and I die cut this out of garden green, and that's crushed curry. And then my centers, whoops, I have a couple of extras here in case I lost them. Now, when you cut these, let me just show you this. This cuts out the outside. So if you stamped it, you could just go ahead and cut that out. Okay. Then if you don't want to stamp it and you still want all of that texture, you would just go ahead while you're cutting it out, you would just put this on the inside. And that's how I got all of those little lines, giving it some texture on the outside. Okay, and same thing with here. I can cut out my stamped little center of my flower, or I can put this down, put this on the inside of it, and then I have a center that has some little specks on it. Hello, Glenda and Karen. I didn't say hello to everybody else, but since you guys just jumped in, good morning, Aunt Mary. So that's what I have a couple of things that I die cut ahead of time as well. All right, we are going to take these two pieces, and I have my thumbs very close together when I'm doing this. I'm about, I would say maybe about a 1/2 inch from the top, and I'm going to go in a diagonal to about a 1/2 inch. I don't measure it. I just eyeball it. Okay. And I'm going to pull towards me, and I'm going to tear these two together. Now, if you have a designer series paper, it's a little bit easier because it's thinner. But we're going to go ahead, and I'm just going to keep tearing. There really is no Okay, so that's all I did was tear. Now you are going to want to come in here. I just kind of came in with my finger. You could also take like your bone folder, and you could kind of rough that up a little bit. And I could rough that up a little bit. One side is always going to be your kind of like your torn side. So I like kind of try to push this side, the bottom one especially, up like that. So it looks kind of like that fault line of the cake. Okay, so that's going to go like that. And this is going to go like that. Pretty cool, right? Easy, right? Easy peasy. Now, before I put this on here, I'm going to stamp. I'm going to attempt to stamp on here. And I'm going to use the stamps from this stamp set. And I'm going to use thanks. And I'm going to put that right there. Yes, there are a lot of beautiful things in the new catalog, but I think some of my favorite things were the online exclusives. So you'll have to check some of those out too, Becky. They'll be available online on Tuesday. This, in fact, like I said, is an online exclusive. So thanks so very much. And then on one of these, I wanted to use the I appreciate you. I love this font. Isn't that a pretty font? I think it's so gorgeous. All right. We're going to put that away. We're done with our stamps. Whoops, my envelope just disappeared. And I have it back. All right. So what I need to do is I'm going to be gluing this on to here. Okay. And you can decide how much of the brown you want to have showing. It doesn't really matter. I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to actually put my glue down on the brown part. I might be getting close to the end of this blue glue. It does kind of feel pretty empty. All right, so there's that one. And then we're going to do the same thing up here. I was really lucky when I did when I did mine. I just did that wrong. Let me put it on the right side of the. Anyone else notice that I did that wrong? Did I do that wrong? Or is this? Oh no, this is the top. This is right. Second guessing myself. I'd flipped both of them over, I guess. All right, so that's going to go like that. So now I'm going to take this other 4x5 1/4 piece that I had, and I'm going to roughly guess this would look really cool if you cut and had that as your center as well. That garden green, I bet that would look really cool too. I didn't think of that till right now when I pulled that over. Just like that bloom card that we had that I showed you, this one had designer paper in here. You could put that green in there. I bet that would look really cool too. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and I don't think there's an up and a down here. Center this as best I can, top to bottom. And it's gonna go all the way out to the edge of the 4 inches. And then my bottom, which I can see I didn't get this on here very straight, so I'm gonna trim that a little. That's why I like to put it together there, because if I have to do any trimming. Now I can put this right on here. Just gonna flip this over so I don't accidentally smear the greeting if it's not completely dry. Okay, and then this one's gonna go on the top. See how if you had done this on the top of your card, you would have to either use a full sheet of designer series paper, or you would have to somehow, like they did, use another sheet of paper to cover it up. So, like I said, there's another piece of paper that was built on to kind of cover that up. All right, and then we can go ahead and add this to the front of our card. So it's a different technique. It's new to me. I haven't used this technique. I can tell you that sometimes techniques that have tearing of paper scare me just a little bit, but I think I've gotten a little bit better over time with just taking it very, very slow, always pulling it towards me. And because I'm right-handed, I hold on with my left and I tear kind of with my right hand because I have more control with that because that's my dominant hand. All right, I'm going to use some glue dots here because otherwise the liquid glue goes through those little holes that I just put in here for the to add a little dimension to that. Or not dimension, but I don't know what you would call it. All right, and then I'm just gonna tuck, I think I'm only gonna need 3 of these. I have 4. This one I cut a little bit crooked, so I cut another one there. I think I'm just gonna throw a couple of those behind this bigger flower. I'm just using glue dots here. And I'm putting them upside down and putting the glue dot on the top so that I can go like that and add that. Pretty flowers, right? Everybody always says I don't need more flowers, and I know I've said that as well, but these are really pretty. So I did get them. I, I ended up getting almost all the flowers. And I'm like, Sarah, you don't need any more flowers, but they're so pretty. So I'll get rid of some flowers in my used stamp sale, which that's going to be that first weekend in June. I'm gonna quit my job. My last day of work is June 5th. Do the stamp sale on June 6th, and then I'm gonna start my new job on June 9th. I'm not even taking a break at all, which is kind of crazy, right? But it'll work. All right, we're gonna go ahead. I'm at the end here of my dimensionals, but we'll get some in there. Now, before I put that down, I should have done that here too. I am going to just kind of rough these up because no flower is just like perfect, right? So I'm just taking, you could do this with a bone folder as well. Just kind of, whoops, I don't want to completely tear it like I did there. But you just want to kind of rough it up a little bit, give it a little bit more dimension. All right. Just pop that right up there. I do want to make sure that I keep that on the card. What? Pretty, right? Just love this technique. Like I said, it's new to me. And I'm thinking it was, now that I'm thinking about it, I think it was Lisa Freeman who I ended up finding had done it with the 4 by 5 1/4 rather than having to have a 4 1/4 inch piece of paper. And now I know these were our gems from our last one, but I thought these looked really good with this paper. So I'm actually going to use them with this card. And I'm just going to take one big one and one little one and pop it up there along that fault line. And, oh, where's my Wink of Stella? Oh, here's one. I'll take some Wink of Stella. Whoops. Here, I have another one. Pull the cap completely off. We'll add a little glimmer to the center of those flowers. And I can even do it on the DSP to kind of bring that in a little bit. And there is our fault line card. I do have some of the DSP that we can put on the envelope here. Thanks, Linda. We got a floral theme going on today. I was going to use the popcorn bundle. I think I'll do that next week. I have the sailboat and the popcorn and the one with the mountains that I haven't used yet. And oh, and the pig. I've got the pig to use yet too. I did get that one. So there's a lot of different ones that I have to use yet. So I've got to get away from these flowers because I know I'm always drawn to the flowers. And we'll do something with some of the other ones. Okay, so there is our fault line card. So this one uses it all the way to the edge, a little bit different, and it's horizontal. This one uses it with just the 4-inch, and you've got the border. Now this is the first one that I made had early espresso, and then it had crushed curry. So which one do you like better? Can you even tell the difference? I don't know which one pops more. I think the center pops more with this being a darker color. And that's kind of what I was thinking after I made it. I was like, oh, I wish I would have put early espresso there and then done the crushed curry as my card base because I felt like the paper would pop more if the brown were there. And I kind of feel like it does, but it still has that same look. So let me give you the sheet with the dimensions and then the card right next to it. So there you go. For those of you that like to take a screenshot and have it, you have that right there. I like the yellow more. They both have yellow in. Oh, the yellow in here or the yellow base? Because they both have yellow in. Um, I like the darker color more pop. So everybody's got a different opinion. Yeah. So I used the same colors. I just changed where the yellow was and where the brown was. And you could do, like I said, you could do that designer paper and you could make that green, kind of like how she used the designer paper here to do hers. So that is what I have. So I wanted to share, I had two people ask me, where are you in earning the next incentive trip? Because you guys are so helpful with helping me to get there. I couldn't do it without having customer support and having the support of my team members. And so I do have to announce that less than 1% of Stampin' Up! Demonstrators worldwide earn the Stampin' Up! Incentive trip. And I'm going to be leaving 2 weeks from today. I will not be live. I don't know if I'll get a video made before I leave for Orlando, but I am going to be heading to Orlando, leaving on May 13th until the 18th for an all-inclusive trip to we're going to be staying at the Grand Floridian and we're going to be going to Disney. We're going to go to Magic Kingdom one day. We're going to go to Epcot one day, and then we've got something at Animal Kingdom one night for Stampin' Up, and then Disney Springs. But this is where I am in earning the Alaskan cruise, which, oh my goodness, I am almost to the 3/4 way. So this was each of these is a month. And so this was the month of April. And so I have to earn 40,000 points. And I'm actually about 100 shy of 30,000, but I've colored off the 29,500. So I have until the end of September to get to the 40,000. So I'm actually doing really, really well. So I thank all of you for your help. This is my little tracker so that I can know you can see during celebration. Those were my really, really good times. And this is really good too. So I'm very, very pleased with where I am. I'm actually ahead of where I was last year at this time by about I think it was about 8,000 points. I'm ahead of where I was last year. So I am getting there. All right, let me come back to you. And there we go. All right, I'm back, and these lights do not do me justice at all. So next week, I am going to be doing I didn't put both my cards out here, but you saw them. I am going to be doing a Stamp Stack on Saturday, and I planning on going at 12:30 because I'm offering a morning and I'm offering an afternoon. So I'm going to sneak you in between. So I'm doing an 8 to 11. I'm going to sneak you in from 12:30 till 1:30, and then at 2 o'clock I have more people coming from 2 until 5 if people sign up. So that is the plan. So 12:30 next Saturday. Then I will be taking the following Saturday off, unless I get a video done ahead of time. And then I'll be back again at my, oh no, then the week after that is Memorial Day weekend. I think I'm going to be switching back to Tuesdays. I think Tuesday seemed to be a really good day of the week for me, because I will be at our cottage on Memorial Day weekend. Can you believe Memorial Day weekend? Then the month of May is gone, and it just started this week. Mother's Day weekend next weekend. Then I'll be in Orlando, and then it is Memorial Day weekend already. Oh my goodness. It's going to fly by. It really is. So, thank you all for joining me today. I really, really appreciate it. Catalog goes live on Tuesday. The joining special goes live on Tuesday. Today's the last day for double rewards. If you're wanting to purchase anything, today would be a good day unless you're waiting for the catalog, which a lot of people are. Um, I think that's all I have. Thank you guys so much. I hope that you have a wonderful weekend. I hope you can find some time to be creative this weekend, and I will see you next week. Bye bye.